Hi Leo, welcome to your 2019 astrology extensive prediction with me, Marina. I'm so happy to, okay, sorry about that. I'm so happy to see you today. We have so many interesting stuff to talk about. We are going to start with the general information about this year and how you can prepare and what you can expect. Of course, we're going to talk about Jupiter, Saturn. We're going to talk about the lunar nodes, eclipses, outer planets. Basically, this is the most important fundamental information. After that, we're going to talk about more detailed stuff about the transits of Mars and Sun and Venus, plus Mercury retrograde, exact periods, which areas are affected in your chart. And also, we are going to talk about a couple of extremely positive aspects during 2019, how they affect you and how you can take advantage. And of course, this extensive horoscope is for everyone who has a sun or rising sign in Leo. Don't forget also that you can watch the other videos. All of the extensive horoscopes will be available on my channel during the whole year, so you can come and check whenever you need to about the details, about the information. Also, let me remind you that the 2019 astrology calendar is available, which will give you more information about heliacal phases of the planets, extremely important when you are about to start new things or plan things. Also, exact aspects between planet ingressions, lunations, and much more information. If you're interested, please find the link below the video. So I hope we are ready to begin. Please let me know if everything is okay with the sound. I believe the picture is fine. So the first thing which is important, numerologically, this year, 2019, equals 3. 3 is the number which is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter, we know that this is the most positive planet in astrology, the planet related to prosperity, abundance, growth, opportunities. So this is a great starting point for everyone. The fact that Jupiter rules the whole year. The second good news is that during the whole year, basically until December 2019, Jupiter will be extremely strong in the sign of its rulership, Sagittarius. So Jupiter is not only strong and powerful because it rules numerologically the year, but it's also more capable of rewarding us and being generous with us because of the great sign position, Sagittarius. This is a transit which happens once in 12 years. Jupiter to enter the sign of its rulership, Sagittarius. So pay attention, guys. And the great news for you is that Jupiter will be in, I think, the most positive house in the chart, 5th house. This house is related to the most positive stuff, basically everything that we love. 5th house represents our deepest desires, represents the things that we love, our children, our romantic life, creativity, art, basically everything which brings passion and entertainment and joy. So as you can guess, this is a great influence for everyone with the sun or ascendant in Leo. Okay, so how to prepare for this? Basically, you have to be open, you have to be ready for great experiences. Jupiter can, in 5th house specifically, can make your life much more pleasant. You may, sometimes it could be about concrete positive events. For example, great time for love, for new romances, great time for having a child, for getting pregnant. Wonderful time also for creativity, for more inspiration. So from one side, some of those concrete events may happen in your life, making you happier and more satisfied. but also on an inner level, you may feel more happy. Sometimes it's not necessarily related to outer events, it's about how you feel on an inner level. And trust me, it is more important. If you manage to learn to feel happy with your life as it is right now, you will attract more and more happiness. You will attract more and more positive results or events or opportunities. So this is a great news for Leo. Jupiter in Sagittarius in 5th house, plus while Jupiter is in Sagittarius, it will make trine with the sign Leo. Which means that especially if this is your sun in Sagittarius, at some point during the year, Jupiter will make trine with your sun or with your ascendant, if that's what's related to your horoscope. This is also extremely supportive, a great time when you can feel more optimistic, more positive, open for new things, for basically everything which can make you feel happier. As we already said, wonderful time for having a child. People who are artists might be much more inspired, ready to start new things. And you know, inspiration is something which you cannot force. You have to be prepared, but there are so many things which are beyond your control. And with Jupiter in 5th house, this inspiration or this creativity can come easier than usual. So my advice is to find ways to find more time to enjoy your life, for entertainments, for your hobbies, for the things that you love. Go out and meet with more people if you want to improve your romantic life. Go out and start a new activity if you are bored, for example, from your life, or if you feel stuck. Because the important part here is that Jupiter is a fire planet. Fire as an element is related to taking action. So if you're completely passive and you don't do anything, you can miss the opportunity. When you have some fire energy in your chart activated, you also need to take action and to initiate the things that you want to materialize or improve. So if you want to be, for example, if you want more entertainments, go out and meet with more people and practice the things that you like, or search for new things that can bring you joy. Or if you want a new romantic partner, again, be open, be ready to experiment. With Jupiter in 5th house, sometimes things can be too much. So you may have more than one person interested in you. You might be attracted to different things. Sometimes we may lose our focus, but it's all related to, you know, this positive sensation. Now, the other news about this year is that Saturn is still in Capricorn, the sign of its rulership. So basically, the two social planets, Saturn and Jupiter, are in the strongest possible positions for them. The last time it has happened was during 1959. So generally, this is a great starting point to have Jupiter and Saturn equally strong. The strong position of Saturn in Capricorn affects your 6th house, which means the area related to work, responsibilities, obligations. Basically, 6th house is kind of an opposite of 5th house. 5th house is all about having fun, enjoying things, pleasures, and, you know, relaxing also. 6th house is about doing what you have to do and what you should do, focusing on work, focusing on practical things. So Saturn in 6th house is in some way testing you in this area of your life. Some people may feel kind of stuck in this area of their life, but the most important part here is that Saturn is testing you. And if everything is okay with your work, if you're at the right place, doing the right thing, Saturn won't bring such challenging events. But if you're not at the right place, if you're doing something that you don't like, or you're working with a team that you don't like, Saturn in 6th house may push you to change those things. And here, of course, you have to pay attention if you have a cusp of a house close to those degrees. Basically, During 2019, Saturn is between the 12th and the 22nd degree in Capricorn. So if Saturn crosses your 6th house and in the cusp of the house, of course, this will be a more significant event. The other thing which is very important talking about Saturn is that also the South Node is in Capricorn during 2019. And the South Node is considered to have a similar influence to Saturn. Basically, it is also requiring from us to give up from something. The South Node in some way resonates more with the past, resonates with experiences that we have already had in previous periods of our life. And especially combined with Saturn, these two indications here, South Node, Saturn in your 6th house, suggest that if you have too many responsibilities, you have to give up from some of them. If you're extremely overwhelmed, also, you need to reorganize your life, your daily routines. This might be challenging for people who are workaholics, who are, extremely focused on work. If you're taking more than you can handle with, actually, this combination, Saturn, South Node in your 6th house, can be quite challenging. So my suggestion, my advice for you guys is to consciously give up from something which is not so important. It could be a responsibility which is so overwhelming or frustrating. It could be a habit which is not healthy for you. And by the way, also the 6th house is important about our health. So if you have one of those unhealthy habits, smoking, eating bad food, not sleeping enough, Saturn and the South Node in 6th house require from you to make a change. If you don't make the change consciously, you might feel pushed or in some way forced to make the change. So as I said already, my advice is to make a conscious change. I don't want to call it sacrifice because it doesn't need to be a sacrifice, but to give up from something. And it could be something which is just not healthy, not good for you. You are tired, you are bored. And what you should focus on is the North Node. The North Node is in Cancer during the whole 2019. And the North Node has a similar influence to Jupiter. Basically, it brings you prosperity or new opportunities, and it would be positive to focus on your North Node or the transit node. Where the transit North Node is in your horoscope. So in this case, during 2019, the North Node is in your 12th house. 12th house is one of those more complicated houses because it describes things which are invisible. It's about your subconscious mind. It's about the past. Sometimes it could be related to your karma. And 12th house is also, the place or the time when you are isolated. Sometimes it's an unhealthy way of isolation, like, for example, prisons are related to 12th house, hospitals, or, unpleasant places. But in other cases, 12th house is related just to relaxing, to recharging, and spending more time on your own, balancing yourself on an inner level. So with this general combination, Jupiter in your 5th house, Saturn and the South Node in your 6th house, the North Node in your 12th house, my general advice would be to relax more, not to rush or to force yourself so much about work and responsibilities. If there is something which you no longer need, try to set free from that and just relax and enjoy your life more. I know that some people might be extremely happy to hear about it. Others may not be so excited about it, but I think that this is the right strategy for you because of this general combination. 5th house and 12th house triggered in a positive way, and 6th house is kind of a testing area for you. So this is very important. The next thing, of course, which is also important, is about the eclipses. The eclipses during 2019 basically will be in January and July and the end of the year, December. The eclipses are considered to be karmic events because they are new moons or full moons, which also include the lunar nodes. That's why we consider them to be such fateful events. And the first eclipse is on the 5th of January, 16 degrees in Capricorn in your 6th house. Here, the important part is that the South Node is in conjunction with the new moon. So this can bring situations from the past or memories or things that you need to handle with, related possibly to your work, to some kind of responsibilities. And here is very important to be open to make a change and possibly to give up from something. After that, January 21st, we have a lunar eclipse. Here the situation is more complicated because the nodes are in Capricorn and Cancer, but the Sun and the Moon are in Leo and Aquarius, which triggers your 1st and 7th house. So basically here, the main focus is more on your personal relationships, communication with other people, how you interact with people. So this might be the time when you can take important decisions related to your personal interaction with others, to your personal relationships as well. After that, on the 2nd of July, we have another solar eclipse, but this time in Cancer, 11 degrees. And the difference is that here we have the North Node. Basically, here is the North Node in your 12th house. Time to take a rest, time to relax, to slow down, to turn more into some kind of spiritual stuff if you're interested in that, or to handle with the past, or just to prepare for a new cycle, because 12th house is the ending phase. This is the last house in the horoscope. So slow down, take a rest during this time. After that, July 16th, we have a lunar eclipse in 24 degrees Capricorn Cancer, triggering 6th and 12th house. This axis, 6th and 12th house, is very important for our health. So all of those influences, indications, they might be important for your health. So my advice is to pay attention to your health. If there is something unhealthy, something which is not good for you, try to change that if possible, or at least try to add something positive, something which can improve your health. For example, let's say, I really love eating chocolate, but I know it's not the healthiest food, so I'm trying to exercise. I can't stop eating chocolate right now, but at least I'm trying to exercise. So if you have some kind of unhealthy habit and it's impossible for you to give up from that right now, then at least try to add something positive. It could be drinking more water, eating healthier food, whatever works for you, whatever you need. But this eclipse in 6th, 12th house can really bring this topic on the surface. What you are doing for your health, how much time you're spending on work and taking a rest. And if the situation is really unbalanced, it may force you to make a drastic change in a more unpleasant way. So again, my suggestion is to make a conscious decision to improve this area by taking certain steps. So work, career, rest, inner balance, and health. These are the important topics. And the last eclipse, 26th of December, another solar eclipse, this time 5 degrees in Capricorn, again in 6th house, basically similar to the first one. Also, the South Node is included here. So situations similar to those in January might happen again around the end of December. And also, don't forget to check if you have some planets or cusps of houses close to those degrees. You can find them here. Basically, the last one is 5 degrees in Capricorn. Again, the topic is about work, about your responsibilities and your health. These are probably the major topics during the whole year for you. Okay, so next we have to talk about the outer planets. They're extremely interesting, but they can affect different people in different ways. The most important part here is to find out if any of those planets are making exact aspects with planets or cusps of houses in your chart. Because if you don't have an exact aspect, you may not feel so strongly the impact of the transits in certain houses. For example, Uranus at the beginning of the year will be on the 28th degree in Aries. And this is your ninth house. Generally, this is a positive, harmonious influence. So if you have your sun or ascendant sign in the last degrees in Leo, it means that Uranus will make trine with your sun or ascendant sign. And this is very harmonious. This can bring more variety, more excitement, new opportunities, changes which are not so shocking or drastic or stressful. They are pleasant. They are probably initiated by you, and they are generally considered to be nice. So very interesting and very positive aspect for a change. After that, around March, the transit Uranus enters Taurus. And until the end of the year, it will reach the 7th degree in Taurus. So if you have your sun or ascendant sign in the first 7, even 8, 9 degrees in Taurus, in Leo, it means that Uranus will square your sun or ascendant sign. And this is really important. Uranus squaring your sun or ascendant sign can bring more drastic changes, can bring unexpected sudden events. And the truth is that it can feel quite stressful. On the other hand, if you are really stuck, if you feel really bored, if everything is, boring and frustrating for you, Uranus squaring your sun can make you feel so frustrated that eventually you can make the needed changes. And as I like to repeat constantly, the most important is how we are using the energy of the transits. Certain transit may have a positive or negative influence depending on how you're using the energy. So Uranus squaring your sun may feel stressful, can make you feel extremely nervous, impatient. Things might be quite unstable around you, but eventually you can make a drastic change. And the truth is that the biggest steps in our evolutionary growth or spiritual or personal growth happen when we have challenging aspects. The positive aspects won't push you enough so that you can make a significant new step and get outside of the comfort zone. Like it's so popular nowadays to talk about this comfort zone. Well, those challenging aspects are the one which can push you outside of this comfort zone where you can make a big shift. So again, I would like to repeat, if you have your sun or ascendant sign in the first 8-9 degrees in Leo, this transit will be the most important one for you. Uranus squaring the sun or the ascendant sign. Of course, also, if the cusp of your 10th house is somewhere close to those degrees, between the 28th degree in Aries and 7-8 degrees in Taurus, Uranus making conjunction with your MC, with the cusp of your 10th house, can also bring incredible changes in career. For some people, this might be a brand new career. Sometimes it can be quite stressful. Sudden events may happen, unexpected, sometimes quite, surprising. But on the other hand, if you want to start a new career, if you want to have more independence at work, if you want to start your own business or work as a freelancer or be more creative, be more inspired, Uranus in 10th house is actually your friend. So don't forget, we can really navigate this energy and we can change the overall effect of the transits. Next, we have Neptune. During 2019, Neptune is between the 14th and the 19th degree in Pisces in your 8th house. If you have the cusp of your 8th house between those degrees, 13 and the 20th degree in Pisces, Neptune will enter 8th house, which is significant, which can make you really sensitive, can bring certain complications sometimes in terms of mutual finances, in terms of investments. So here you need to be more careful with that, especially if Neptune makes other aspects with your planet. But generally speaking, if you don't have the cusp of your 8th house here between those degrees, Neptune in 8th house may not be so important for you. One of the outer planets just moving through certain house, not making aspects with other planets in your chart is not so significant. And the situation is similar with Pluto. Pluto is between the 20th and the 23rd degree in Capricorn during the whole year in your 6th house. If you have the cusp of 6th house here between those degrees, 19 degrees and 24 degrees in Capricorn, of course, this will be a major transit for you, bringing drastic changes at work related to your responsibilities, your position, how much power you have. Here, the interpretation should be more personal because it really depends on your natal chart and the other stuff which are happening. But generally, Pluto triggering something about your 6th house, of course, brings serious transformations at work, about health, about your responsibilities. But generally, Pluto from those degrees won't make a major aspect with your sun or ascendant sign, if you have it in Leo, of course, which means that probably it won't be such an important transit for you. So this is the general information, guys, the most important tendencies during 2019 for you. Again, to summarize, Jupiter is extremely positive, extremely powerful. In your case, it affects the area of entertainment, love, children, creativity. Great time to focus on those stuff. On the other hand, Saturn and the South Node are testing 6th house, which means career, work, health, responsibilities. You may need to be really careful with those areas. Maybe you need to slow down things which are related to those areas. So basically more attention here. And the North Node in 12th house, great time for reassessment of the past, to relax, to slow down, to focus more on the insight and what's important for you personally, and just to spend more time alone. We talked about the eclipses and the dates. About the outer planets, the most important is the impact of Uranus in case that it squares your sun or ascendant sign, which means if you have your sun or ascendant sign between the 1st and the 8th degree in Leo. If that's your case, this is the major, most important transit in your chart. So now that we know the general tendencies, we can talk about the other important stuff, which are giving us more information. We are continuing with the transits of Mars because they are also quite visible for us. Mars is the planet of our personal will, the planet of taking action, doing things. So the area or the house where Mars is currently in your chart, the transit Mars, can show you where you can be really motivated to achieve something, where you can be really energized, where you might be more competitive. Of course, Mars can also bring possible confrontations, can make us impatient. But if you would like to start new things and, put a lot of effort or energy on something, Mars can be really helpful for you. And First, from January until the 13th of February, Mars is in Aries in your ninth house. Generally, this is supportive because Mars will make trine with your Sun or Ascendant sign, which means that this is a great time to concentrate on your future goals, to take action related to those goals. Also, a great time for traveling, for learning, for education. But remember, those type of activities, they require initiative and ability also sometimes to take risks. So don't wait for things to happen. Instead, it would be better to go and to initiate them. Okay, so then we have also another important position from the 14th of February until the 30th of March. The transit Mars is in your 10th house, also a key position, especially about career, your reputation, your social position, or also communication with authority figures. From one side, this transit can make you extremely active, willing to do new things, to take certain risks. So if you have your own business, then this transit actually can be very positive to do something, to take action. On the other hand, the risk here is that you might be really impatient. You may want to have immediate results, which, by the way, can be quite challenging, keeping in mind that Saturn is in sixth house, the other career house. So during this time, you have to remember to be patient, not to rush things too much, and to be careful about possible confrontations with people who have more power. That's the challenge of this position. At some point, also Mars will square your Sun or Ascendant sign, which is also a stressful aspect, but short-lasting transit. So it's not a life-changing situation, but at some point here, you may feel more nervous, more impatient, willing to do something. After that, from the 31st of March until the 14th of May, Mars will be in your 11th house. Great time to focus on some social projects, on group activities, something that you can do as part of certain community or with friends, or something which has a social impact on others as well. After that, from the 15th of May until the 30th of June, the transit Mars is in your 12th house. This is an important transit because also the North Node is here. So Mars will make conjunction with the North Node. So I think that it's very important for you to really find a way to relax. When Mars is transiting your 12th house, usually it's more challenging to see visible results from your efforts. That's why generally this is not a strong position or a supportive position for important social projects or achievements. On the other hand, what would be positive to do is some kind of practices. It could be sports, it could be spiritual practices, which can help you to balance yourself, to balance your energy. And sometimes we just need to relax. Especially in this case, Mars in Cancer is actually quite weak, essentially, I mean, as a sign position. So generally, people are not so motivated during this time. So use it for a vacation, for a relaxation, for education, maybe something which doesn't require so much effort and visible results immediately. Or it could be also about preparation for something new, which you're about to start after that. And the big shift from the 1st of July until the 17th of August. The transit Mars is in Leo in your first house, one of the most significant transits. Don't forget that Mars is the natural ruler of first house. It always increases the strength of the planet when, you know, the nature of the planet is close to the nature of the house. So it means that this is a great time for new projects, starting new things, taking risks, feeling braver, feeling more passionate about things. Sometimes it can make you also impatient. It can bring possible confrontations. And if someone is extremely passive, if someone resists the change or to do something, Mars in first house sometimes can bring possible traps. Of course, we are not talking about serious stuff. It could be, hurting your arm or, cutting your finger with the knife. It doesn't have to be something serious, but it's quite common when Mars is in your first house, especially if you are not using the energy for something constructive. Mars can bring possible trauma. So if you're planning something more dangerous, extreme sports or similar stuff, be more careful during this time. But generally speaking, that's a new beginning. That's a very productive time to start things, to feel more confident, to feel braver. After that, from the 18th of August until the 2nd of October, Mars is in second house. This is a great time to focus on practical stuff. Anything which will help you to improve your finances, anything which will help you to achieve concrete results. Second house is about things that you can touch, things that you can measure, things that you can evaluate. Mars is about doing things, taking action, putting your physical energy in something. So this combination is great for achieving practical results, for doing something with your hands, or focusing on financial material stuff as well. From the 3rd of October until the 18th of November, the transit Mars will be in your 3rd house. This is a great transit which can make you really active in terms of communicating with other people, creating new contacts, negotiating actively with people. Here, it's not so easy to be diplomatic. Even though Mars is in Libra, which is a diplomatic position, it might be helpful, but generally Mars in 3rd house can make you really active in this area. Also about learning new things, about traveling. This is a very positive position. And also for implementing or applying your ideas in practice. And the last transit at the end of the year, from November the 19th until the end of December, actually until January 2020, Mars is in Scorpio in your 4th house. This is a time when you can focus more on family, on home, or fixing something about your home, or doing something together with your family or for your family members. Some kind of reconstructions, fixing things, repairing things is also a positive direction for you. And Mars in 4th house also is a positive time to relax more, to slow down, not to focus so much on social projects, activities, and goals, but more to focus on things which are important for you personally. And as you can see, Mars is actually really strong at the beginning and at the end of the year, in Aries and in Scorpio. So these are periods when we can be more active in terms of those areas where Mars is in our chart. Basically for you at the beginning of the year, 9th house, your goals, future plans, traveling, education. At the end of the year, more about personal stuff, your home, property issues, family, and similar stuff. Next, we are going to talk about Mercury Retrograde. Mercury Retrograde, basically we have 3 cycles during 2019. By the way, the great news is that during 2019, Mars and Venus won't be retrograde. 2018 was more challenging because both of the planets were retrograde at some point. 2019, things are back to normal. As usual, Mercury is retrograde 3 times. The first time between the 5th and the 27th of March in Pisces, between the 30th and the 17th degree, triggering your 8th house. Generally, it's about your finances, especially mutual finances, mutual resources, not a positive time to take money, to give money to others, to make investments, definitely not a positive time, or to buy important stuff, to make some, expensive purchases. After that, the second transit of Mercury retrograde is between the 7th and the 30th of July. This time, Mercury will be retrograde between the 5th degree Leo and the 24th degree in Cancer, triggering your 1st and 12th house. Of course, here it's important to find out the exact degrees in order to be more accurate. But generally, Mercury retrograde in your first house requires for you to be very careful with everything that you are starting. Personal projects, personal initiatives, they may require more attention. You may feel kind of confused, or situations from the past might come back. So everything which affects you personally. But this is around, well, half of the period. The second half of this period in July, Mercury is in 12th house. So basically, this is more about inner processes. Information which has been secret might, well, you may learn about it, or old memories might come back, or in some way the past may require from you to reassess it or to make certain changes. Basically, this is more related to inner processes, not necessarily bringing concrete outer events when Mercury is retrograde in 12th house. And the last transit between the 31st of October and the 19th of November, Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio between the 28th and the 12th degree in your fourth house. So during this time, you should be more careful with family issues, communication with family members, not a positive time for buying property or making important decisions related to your home or to, changing something about it. And as I said, be more careful how you communicate with your family members. Mercury retrograde here can bring some, well, messy situations. Not necessarily something drastic, but, well, something which may require more attention. And as usual, we know that all of those periods when Mercury is retrograde are not beneficial for new contracts, for starting brand new things, especially if you want them to be permanent or long lasting. You should be more careful with information when you're planning things, when you're scheduling. Mistakes are more likely to happen, especially during traveling or meetings or negotiations. Generally, people may not be understanding each other accurately. So we know this, we are used to those transits. They happen 3 or 4 times each year. So it's not so stressful and unfamiliar. All right, and we are moving to the next part, which is about the transits of the sun. So now we're going to talk about more pleasant stuff, meaning that they don't require so much effort or so much work. The transits of the sun can show you areas of your life where you can be really supported, or you can feel, well, more energized to do things. So they last approximately 1 month, all of those transits. And they can show you, for example, when would be a positive time to plan a vacation, or to start a new career project, or to focus on practical stuff, and so on. Okay, let me finish with this part here. So we have to talk about the sun, quickly about Venus, and then if you have some questions, guys, you can ask them. I will try to answer as many as possible. So at the beginning of the year, the transit sun is in Capricorn in your 6th house. Here, the sun will be together with the south node. We shouldn't forget about it. But generally, the focus is more on responsibilities, on work, on obligations, and your health. After that, from the 20th of January until the 17th of February, the transit sun is in your 7th house, which is a great time to focus more on relationships, on communication with other people, negotiations. If you work with clients or basically with certain audience, this is also positive transit for you, for your work, to to attract more attention. 7th house and 10th house are the places where we attract attention. So If that's part of your life, of your job, this position can be really positive for you. If not, then it's more about your personal life, your relationships, and personal partnerships. After that, from the 18th of February until the 19th of March, transit sun is in your 8th house. This is one of the more challenging positions when you may look on things too seriously. You might be focused on more serious topics. Great time for education, for exploring, researching things, focusing on financial stuff or investments. But generally, the emotional atmosphere is more challenging with the sun in 8th house. You are more sensitive. You may feel more vulnerable. It might be more difficult to connect with other people. After that, a very big shift and very positive one. From the 20th of March until the 19th of April, the transit sun is in your 9th house. One of the most positive positions. The sun will make trine with your natal sun or natal ascendant. Great time to focus on the future, to plan new things, to dream, to, this shift here from 8th to 9th house is also making you feel more positive, more optimistic. Great time for education, for traveling, trips, learning new things, and setting up some new goals. After that, from the 20th of April until the 20th of May, the transit sun is in your 10th house. Important transit for your work, for career achievements, for responsibilities. Again, the things that you are doing are more visible for others. If you would like to start a new business, a new career project, this would be a positive time. And generally communicating with people who have more power than you is also positive during this time. After that, from the 21st of May until the 20th of June, the transit sun is in your 11th house. Time to spend more time with friends, with other people, with your community, or to concentrate on some social activities and projects, and basically everything which you're idealizing in some way. After that, from the 21st of June until the 21st of July, the transit sun is in your 12th house. One of those periods when you need to slow down, you need to relax, you need to reassess the past 1 year. Especially if you have your sun sign, it means that next month you will have your birthday. So this is a time to reassess the past 1 year, to relax, maybe to go on vacation, or to do something which is more personal, more important for you. Of course, the big shift is when the sun enters Leo and your first house. From the 22nd of July until the 22nd of August. The transit sun is in Leo. If you have your sun in this sign, it means that this would be the time of your birthday and your new solar revolution or solar return chart. And basically, that's kind of a new beginning. Important time when you can feel more energized, willing to do things, to take action, to, just to be happier. Here we have another event between those days, so don't forget about it. On the next slide, we are going to talk about this, but it's very positive. So generally, July, August, especially the second half of July, and until the 22nd of August can be a new starting point for you. After that, from the 23rd of August until the 22nd of September, the sun is in your second house. Time to concentrate on practical stuff, to have more stability in your life, to achieve concrete results. Financial decisions or buying stuff is also an option here. So basically, you're concentrated on visible stuff, on practical, concrete tasks. After that, from the 23rd of September until the 22nd of October, the sun is in your third house. This is a positive time to concentrate on intellectual work. You may have great new ideas, wonderful time for traveling, by the way, or for learning new things, for communication with more people, for contracts or contacts with others as well. From the 23rd of October until the 21st of November, the Sun is in your 4th house. So this is a time to focus on personal stuff, your family, your home, to relax, maybe to improve, to change something at home. Actually, it's important to feel more comfortable when you're alone. And then we have another great transit. Basically, here we don't have this one. Okay, so from the 22nd of November until the 20th of December, the Sun is in your 5th house. One of those great transits which can bring you more happiness, which can bring you more opportunities for entertainment, for having fun, for relaxing, maybe focusing on creative stuff, or spending more time with your children, or also improving your romantic life. And the end of the year, from the 21st of December until January 2020, the Sun is in your 6th house, which is again time for work, for responsibilities, for doing the things that you have to do, and focusing again on practical issues. Okay, we have only one slide left, which is about the most positive transits, the transits of Venus. Okay. So the transits of Venus, they are very short, so they can't change dramatically your life, but they can make you feel happier at certain point about certain areas of your life. That's why they can be very useful, again, for planning positive things. Vacations, trips, parties, entertainments, going on dates, and similar stuff. Venus and the transits of Venus basically are very supportive here. After that, you can see we have some lucky days, which we are going to talk about at the end. So from the beginning of the year, for a couple of days until the 6th of January, the transit Venus is in your 4th house, which is a very harmonizing transit about family, staying at home, spending more time with family members, or just feeling more comfortable at home. After that, from the 7th of January until the 2nd of February, Venus is in your 5th house. One of those great, really positive periods. A wonderful transit for love, for your romantic life, for entertainments, parties, hobbies, focusing on the things that you love doing. So don't forget about this period from the 7th of January until the 2nd of February. Also, during this time, Venus will make trine with your Sun or Ascendant sign in Leo, which is also very supportive. From the 3rd of February until the 28th of February, Venus is in your 6th house, which can help you to harmonize your relationship at work or communication with colleagues or with clients, or just to feel more comfortable when you're on your desk or at work or wherever you have to go. This is not a transit which can make you really motivated to work or really focused or ambitious. This is more a transit of relaxation. After that, a very important transit from the 1st of March until the 25th, Venus is in 7th house. This is one of the houses which are naturally related to Venus, so the impact is stronger and more positive, especially in terms of personal stuff, relationships, going on new dates, or improving your current relationship. Great time to share your feelings. If you feel misunderstood, if you feel frustrated, it's a positive time actually to give your partner the things that you would like to receive. Okay, this one as well. After that, from the 26th of March until the 19th of April, Venus is in your 8th house. Emotionally, this may not be such an easy period, but it's positive for financial decisions, investments, receiving financial support from others. Those type of things are really positive. And then from the 20th of April until the 14th of May, we have a very positive period when Venus is in your ninth house. Great time to go on a trip, to travel somewhere. You may enjoy to meet with people who are from foreign countries or different cultures. And generally, it's a positive time when you may just enjoy dreaming or planning something in the future. This is also a time when Venus will make trine with your natal sun or ascendant sign, which makes the transit even more positive. Then the next transit is also important from the 15th of May until the 7th of June. The transit Venus is in your 10th house, one of those significant, important positions, especially about work, communication with people who have more power, or some kind of authority figures. Basically, when Venus is strong in your chart or triggering certain house, certain area, it's easier for other people to like you. For example, when Venus is in 10th house, it's easier for your colleagues or your bosses to like you and to give you what you want. And for negotiations, especially business negotiations, this is a very positive transit, Venus in 10th house. And generally, you may feel happier with your work. You may feel more capable to enjoy the process or your achievements. After that, from the 8th of June until the 2nd of July, the transit Venus is in your 11th house, positive for social activities, group activities, communities, friends, basically everything that you are doing together with others. From the 3rd of July until the 26th of July, Venus is in your 12th house. Time to relax, time to reassess, and to reconnect emotionally with yourself. Not the best time for new dates, for some important, well, negotiations, for example, or social projects. This is 12th house is about yourself on an inner level. But the big shift is after that, from the 27th of July until the 20th of August. One of the most important transits when Venus is in Leo, your first house. Let me see. We have a very positive event here as well. We are going to talk about it. So, a great time for love, for romantic experiences, for entertainment, going on new dates, improving your appearance, taking care of, especially for women, hair, makeup, clothes. You can focus on that. You may feel more attractive, and actually you might be much more attractive to others. So great supportive time to reconnect, especially with your feminine energy. This is especially important for women. Then from the 21st of August until the 13th of September, the transit Venus is in your second house. This is one of the houses which are related to Venus naturally. So Venus is really strong here, especially in terms of financial and material issues. Great time to spend some money on something. You can earn more money. You can receive some presents. Generally, you may feel happier about your possessions or about your financial situation. From the 14th of September until the 7th of October, Venus is in third house, harmonizing your communication with people, helping you to negotiate with others, to enjoy traveling or learning new things, learning new information, but in a pleasant way. So it's not so much about effort and hard work, it's about enjoying the process. And also here you can harmonize your relationship with siblings or with neighbors or people you communicate with on a daily basis. After that, from the 8th of October until the 31st of October, Venus is in 4th house. Great time to harmonize your relationship with family members, to show your feelings towards people that you love, people that you really appreciate. Also, great time to relax more at home, to do something pleasant when you are alone, or maybe to even to redecorate something at home. After that, from the 1st of November until the 24th of November, we have a great aspect, Venus in 5th house. Great time because also Venus will join Jupiter there. Wonderful for love, for entertainment, for hobbies, for going on a new date, for practicing the things that you love, or connecting with your children. So these are one of the most positive transits. After that, from the 25th of November until the 19th of December, Venus is in 6th house, which can harmonize again your communication with colleagues, with coworkers, with clients. You may feel more comfortable at work. And the last transit from the 20th of December until the end of the year, until January 2020. Venus is in 7th house again. Again, great transit because Venus rules this house naturally. So for relationships, for new partnerships, new dates, reconnecting, improving your current relationship, this is a fantastic aspect. And the last thing, which is the most positive from everything that we've talked about, the lucky days and combinations during 2019. The first one is the conjunction between the Sun and Venus. We have only one conjunction between the Sun and Venus during 2019, and it will be in Leo on the 22nd degree in your first house. So this is a great supportive combination for your love life, for how you feel, how you interact with others. Basically, you can expect all kinds of positive events and feelings and emotions around this day, the 14th of August. Not necessarily exactly on this day, it might be a little bit before or after that as well. The other conjunctions, really positive conjunctions, are between Venus and Jupiter. We have two of those. One is on the 22nd of January, 17 degrees in Sagittarius in your 5th house. We have a similar one on the 24th of November, this time on the 29th degree in Sagittarius, still in your 5th house. These are great combinations for love, for entertainment, enjoying your life, new dates, reconnecting with people that you love, focusing on creativity and things that bring you joy. So I would say that maybe you're one of the luckiest signs because of those combinations here. First of all, Jupiter in 5th house is in a great position during the whole year for you. Plus, Venus will join it during January and November, and the Sun and Venus will be together in Leo during August in your first house. So I think that you can be really lucky during 2019. So thank you so much for joining me. Let me see if you have some questions about those events. You can ask them, or if you have some comments, I would be interested to read them now or after that. Thank you so much. Again, I would like to remind you about the astrology calendar for 2019. If you would like to purchase your copy, you can find the link below the video. In the calendar, you will find heliacal phases of the planets, which is a very important information. Also, interpretation of exact aspects between the planets, ingressions, and much more stuff. Okay. We have a question. How about the 12th house and long distance travel? 12th house can be related to that because usually if you're traveling abroad or on a brand new place, your in some kind of isolation. So this is an option. People who immigrate or move to a brand new places, very often 12th house is active in their chart. So yes, that's absolutely an option. Another question, what if Uranus is in conjunction with my natal Saturn? In this case, you have to interpret the position of Saturn. In which house is this conjunction and which houses are ruled by Saturn? This will give you a more detailed information. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. Again, don't forget to listen to your sun and ascendant sign. Tomorrow we are continuing with Virgo. After all of the videos are recorded, you will find them on my channel. So if you're not subscribed, you're welcome to subscribe. You will get notifications for future events and other important, interesting stuff. If you want to have a personal reading, you can find the link below the video as well. So thank you very much for joining me today. I wish you have a wonderful year and I'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.